Hello everyone, this is Esther Pool. I'm from Fatima Group of Companies and I am representing my company for PMO Global Awards. Currently I am in Fatima Fertilizers and I am heading IT Governance and PMO department. This presentation has been made as per the requirements and criteria of PMO Global Awards. So let's start the presentation. From slides 3 to 5, I will be covering an overview about PMO and the company. Fatima Group of Companies, it was established in 1936. They started with trading of commodities and then they gradually entered into manufacturing of various products. Currently, the company is involved in different industries that includes commodities, manufacturing of fertilizers, textiles, sugar, mining and energy. Fatima Group is a very diversified group right now and it's considered to be one of the best employers in Pakistan. It's in the growing sector. Currently, they own 3 fertilizer plants in Pakistan and they have the highest production capability of fertilizer production in Pakistan. So those 3 fertilizer plants are, one is Pak Arab Fertilizer, one is Fatma Fertilizer, and the third one is Fatma Fert. Within Fatma Group, there is Information Technology Division, which is basically Information Technology Division, and is considered to be one of the key components in Fatma Group. And this IT division, they basically look overall group. The IT is not only for fertilizer or energy or textile. The IT division, they look the overall IT infrastructure, IT business applications and governance of the overall group that includes each and every industry that I discussed in my previous slide. We have a Vision 2022 that's been recently been made by the PMO department under my supervision, and we aligned all our vision, mission and goals with the overall strategy of Fatma Group. As Fatma Group is considering to be in the growing sector, and currently the vision of Fatma Group is to focus on the technology part in the agriculture sector. And they have taken our IT department, taken certain projects which are first of the kind in the fertilizer sector in Pakistan, that includes the project of CRM, that includes precision agriculture. So Fatma Group is heavily seeing their IT division to come out with projects that give them a competitive advantage in the market. And all the focus will be on mobile application to reduce their carbon footprint, and specifically common project management methodology, because the management of Fatma Group, they know that project management is important if they want to deliver all their projects timely and if they want to stick to their goals. Either it's for the group overall or it's for the specific IT division. So IT is playing a very important part. Within IT, we have 3 different functions. One is the IT business applications that deals in the business development of applications. We have IT infrastructure in which we have networking, we have systems, we have support, we have our own data center located in one of the fertilizer plants. And the third leg is, it is basically the IT governance PMO area. Now, the IT PMO function, it basically within the IT department, and it defines and maintains standard for project management within the division, within the department of Fatima Group, which is IT division. The primary purpose of forming this IT PMO is to achieve business benefits from standardizing and following project management policies, processes, and procedures, and to endure bug-free application within agreed scope, time, and cost. I will be discussing in detail about the overall forming and the objectives and purpose of IT PMO. So initially when it was formed, the basic idea was to bring standardization with policies, processes, and methodologies, and to ensure that whatever projects IT is doing, it's bug-free and it's as per the user requirement, plus it is totally aligned with the strategy of the company. Now I will talk about PMO history, historic, in which I will discuss about how the PMO was formed, and slides 7 to 12 will cover the PMO historic part. Basically, the PMO, the idea of PMO, it came in 2015. I joined this company in 2015, late 2015. At that time, there was no PMO, and there was a small governance department, which is basically part of the IT business application department. And the people within the governance department, they were basically reporting to the business application team lead. And there was projects, yes, the IT department, they were doing the projects at that time. And the need that arise from the company and from the top management, the basic reason for that was that the projects, they were getting delayed, they were not aligned with the strategy of the company, and most important that there were a lot of scope creep and changes, and I will be discussing about those challenges and gaps in the coming slides. So in 2015, when I joined the company, when I joined the department, I started with a detailed analysis on need of PMO, and gaps were identified, and what challenges are faced in absence of PMO. So in the last few months of 2015, my focus was on identifying a need and to bring out those challenges and present them to my senior management that yes, there is a requirement for PMO. In 2016, the idea was approved, and the basic PMO was formed at that time. And the first thing that I brought into was the inclusion of a QA function within the PMO department. And initially, my target was to have a basic PMO which is focused towards defining a methodology and a standard SOP for all the projects, either they are in the business applications part or they are in the IT infrastructure systems or support or networking part. So the basic theme was to develop a document or develop a framework and bring all the IT project managers under that framework. And yes, in 2016, the focus was on to train on project management, because we have at that time heavy developers, we have software developers in the team. Their main focus was development, and they were core technical people, so they were lacking in project management skills and tools and techniques. In 2017, we moved from the basic stage to the standard stage, because in 2016 we heavily worked on only two things, or I should rather say three things. The one was that yes, there is a QA function separate from the business application function, which will be governing, which will be checking the quality of the projects. There will be a PMO function which will be defining a methodology and a framework for every project within the IT division. And the third was that we will be training our project managers on whatever we are doing, whatever policy and procedure we are making, we will train our project managers. So In 2016, the whole year we didn't do anything extra. Why? Because the challenges that we faced and uh, from within the IT department from different team leads. So our focus was only to facilitate them, only to sit with them, tell them what the methodology is, to train them in using that methodology, to make them understand the function of the QA, and to tell them what value we can add by having a structured methodology and framework. So we didn't burden them with any heavy documentation. We didn't burden them from any thing which they feel or they felt that it is something which is overburdening them, overburdening their work. Sorry. So in 2017, we moved to the standard stage. Seeing the results from 2016, we had seen that okay, now the team is understanding the governance and the PMO and the QA functions. So what we started doing in 2017, we started doing certain things in parallel. Our idea was to make PMO a success story within the IT department and use that success story to implement PMO at the group level, starting from the fertilizer plants. So, in parallel, we started marketing our PMO department within the organization. I specifically started meeting with the head of manufacturing, with the head of engineering division, and I initiated an exercise which was a gap analysis. So in 2015, I did gap analysis of project management within the IT division, and in 2017, from my learnings and results of 2016, I conducted a gap analysis for all the fertilizer plants. It was a heavy gap analysis with 60 to 70 questions. I met with the project manager, the engineering managers of all the three plants. I had a detailed meeting with the teams where I identified that what we are doing in the IT division, what value we are getting, and how we can benefit the fertilizer plants, and then at the strategic level, the whole company. And in parallel, this is the one side that I was marketing my PMO overall in the organization. The other part that I did was that I started bringing modifications or improvement in the current PMO setup. Like in 2016, it was a basic PMO, and when people understood that what this project management and what are the benefits of project management is, I started working on the automation of tool and knowledge base, because I believe that knowledge base is one of the key component of any company. Having a history of the projects, the lessons learned, and a detailed knowledge of whatever projects you're doing, because most of the projects that you do, they basically get learnings from your previous projects. So there was no knowledge base at that time, so I started working on the knowledge base, and that is a pure innovation that I did with the help of my team. We implemented a tool which I will talk about in my coming slides, and we built a heavy knowledge base within that tool. At the same time, I started doing audit. The purpose of audit was not to have a stick in my hand and see who is doing right, who is doing wrong. But the purpose of that audit was to basically identify our own gaps. It's not the audit of the IT department. It's or not the audit of the IT project manager. It was the audit of my own function. That whatever we did in 2016, did it get value, or where are the gaps? And based on that audit, we improved our policy. And based on that improvement, we conducted another trainings. And those trainings, they were focused on the improvements part. They were focused on the knowledge-based part of the project management. And in 2017, it was all about improvement. It was all about marketing PMO outside IT department. It was all about telling the other departments that what PMO is, introducing PMO outside IT so that people know that okay, there is one department, there is one governing body which is PMO. And now 2018, the focus will be totally on a centralized PMO because the base work is done. We have the complete gap analysis of the fertilizer plants. We have identified the improvement areas. For example, one of the improvement area is risk management, and specifically that knowledge base I'm talking about. So we will be going towards an advanced level PMO. And in advanced level PMO, the strategy that I have presented to my CEO is an integrated approach towards a comprehensive program and project management. And not only IT, the centralized PMO will be aligning each and every project with the organization strategy, just like we have aligned our projects with the strategy division. So that is the whole timeline. We started identifying with gaps in 2015. Eventually, we moved to basic PMO, in which we targeted only policies. Then we moved to standard, and our target is basically that by the end of 2018, we have at least PMO department in the 3 fertilizer plants also. So if we talk about the levels, in 2016, we are from level 1 and 2, which was totally about methodology and processes. Level 2 and 3, like I said in my previous slide, it was basically focused on improvement, refinement, and building a strong knowledge base. And in 2018, it will be targeting the business alignment, the centralized PMO concept. And like I said, that I'm using my current PMO as a success story. And in all the trainings that I deliver within the company now, I present my department, I present my results to them to show them that, okay, this is what PMO can do. And we have a strong support of my own CIO and the CEO. Why? Because they have seen the results within the IT department and the improvements that we have seen in those 2.5 years. So now people understand when we talk to them, we show them results that, see, this is what we have done in our current department. So they have started to understand that what PMO can do for them and for the company. So level 0, basically it was to understand the current state of IT division. Now, like I said, that initially there was a governance department that was basically it was within the business application, and the team was reporting to business application lead. When I joined the company in 2015, I restructured the department. We developed a separate IT governance and PMO department, and it came directly under the management of CIO. So our CIO reporting to CEO, and we started reporting directly to our CIO. So what we did a restructure. We identified the gaps currently in the project management, and few of the gaps, there were no visibility of projects to senior management. At any point in time, senior management had no idea. There were no reports, there were no dashboards that, okay, how many projects IT is doing, what benefit they are giving to the business function. Initially, I attended one of the meeting. I remember there was CIO and CEO and the 3 main head of IT infrastructure, the business application, and I was there. And the marketing head was there. And the marketing head was complaining that to the CEO that IT has done nothing for us. They have done no project for us. So from the business side to hear things like that, it was really challenging. That people were thinking that because there was no visibility of the projects, though the IT was delivering projects, but certain departments, they have this thing that they are not doing anything for them. There was no standard knowledge base, like there was no lesson learned, no risk, no register of issues, nothing like that. So when I joined it, I asked from different team members that, okay, for a particular project, can you show me a charter Can you show where you are logging the risk? And everything basically was on emails. Either it was on emails or it is within the team or within the mind of the project manager and the team members. And no risk recorded at any central repository where one can see them, one can, even a business user can see them. So there was no repository or tool like that. Like I said, the IT, they had IT technical experts. So we do not have at that time trained project managers. High level of scope creep. And why high level of scope creep? Because there was no QA department. There was no quality testing of the projects. And the quality testing that was there at that time, it was within the domain of project manager. Manager used to test his product by himself. So there was no third party who can come and see that, okay, these were the business requirements. So these are the tests that we had done and these are the results. So the project member used to test his own solution. And because of that, when it went to the user, business user, they asked for a lot of changes. And it's a high level of scope creep. There was no requirement document template. The requirements were discussed within a meeting, within MOM, within email. So normally there was no sign-offs and user tend to change very frequently. There was no consistent project management methodology. I remember that IT infrastructure, they were following something different. They had some different mode of communication. Sometimes they not even used to tell that they are doing a project. And IT business applications, they have some different set of methodology and the working style they were doing. There were no templates. At the end of the project, you cannot, at that time in 2015, you cannot ask a project manager that, okay, is your project success or failure, because, or what benefits your project has given to the business, because there was no working on that. No escalation, there were no issue management, there was no strong liaison with the business units. Normally the projects, they were delivered at the end to the business units. There were no communication in between and there were no part of escalation. And normally when IT project manager used to escalate to the business users, they hardly react. Why? Because they think that, okay, this is the project manager is doing it. So normally they do not used to respond to his or her emails. And then in 2016, we moved from nothing to a formation of basic PMO. Like I said, that the PMO is formed directly under the command of CIO. We have formed a quality assurance function that was the main focus of that time, to bring a third party who can test the projects, who can test the products and before delivery to the business users. We defined a standard PMO procedure methodology, which is basically aligned with the PMI framework. We delivered a lot of trainings, and at level 1, like I said, that we formed only 2 templates. One is the project charter and one is the plan, and then we have functional document and RTM. Now, I knew at that time that PMO is a new thing for the IT project managers, and they normally run away from these documentations. So what I did was that I defined the definition of a project, that what is meant by project within the IT department, because there was a challenge that people are treating project as operations and sometimes operational projects. So I segregated these 2 things, and within projects I again segregated that there will be projects from 1 to 3 months and there will be projects greater than 3 months. So the projects that were from 1 to 3 months, we have defined 1 single page templates so that project managers do not get overburdened. And we had a separate definition for projects greater than 3 months, and those projects which were identified critical by PMO. They were cross department, they were greater than 3 months, they had a particular budget amount attached with them. So for those projects, we had a separate detailed charter and templates. Why? Because we treated these two things differently, because so that our project manager, they do not get overburdened, because we do not want our project managers to develop a 10-page charter for a project which is just 1 month long. So we define that, okay, guys, this is a small charter for smaller projects, and this is a detailed charter for critical business projects. So what started happening in 2016, that all the projects, they started coming under the umbrella of PMO. And at that time, we set a meeting, a monthly meeting with our CEOs initially. And we used to present our dashboards that, okay, see, this is the status of critical projects. This is the status of projects which are not critical. These are the challenges we are facing. These are the decisions we required from the CEO or CIO. And they started seeing the results. And then we moved from monthly to weekly meetings with our CIO and CEOs. And then in 2017, we moved on to the standard PMO level. What we did, like I said before, that we basically started doing two things in parallel. One is that we started doing marketing PMO within the organization. And the second thing, we started heavily working on the knowledge base. Now, we had a budget constraint. We were not allowed to go for a heavy licensing of any software. So what we did is that we identified an open source tool, which is Redmine. Basically, this Redmine tool, it is for bug management, that the bugs you identified within the quality testing. But with the idea of using it as a project management tool, considering we will not be getting any new software, what we did, we customized this Redmine. We customized and we transformed this tool from bug tracking tool to a project management knowledge base tool. You will see the templates in my supporting documents, the screenshots, that how we are using that Redmine as a project management tool. And that is a huge success. When we market to other departments that this is what we are doing, so they started asking for access to that particular tool. They started asking that, okay, they want to access the risk register, they want to access the dashboards from there. So we totally transformed the Redmine open source software, which is having no support at all. My own team, they customized it totally for the knowledge base. And the knowledge base was basically risk register, issue register, bug register, lessons learned, dashboards, all these things, they were now online. In 2017, we made all those things online, and we trained our project manager on risk, issues, lessons, how to enter them. So every project manager, they started entering all these things within the software. And it was a huge success. Why? Because at any point in time, you can go and PMO can go and see that, okay, this is the risk, these are the mitigation plan, this is the ongoing issue, this is the escalation path. So everything, every report, it came online in that knowledge base. Based on our learnings in 2016, we defined the PMO procedure. We brought new improvements in that. And the next main step we did, that we marketed ourselves to the business unit, that there is a governing body of projects, which is not IT business application. This is a department which is separate than IT business application, IT infrastructure, and they are looking not for their IT project managers, they are looking not only for the business users, they are basically looking for the project success. So people started to ask questions from our IT project managers, that who is this PMO? What is this PMO? Because we started escalating the issues related to business users to them, to their line managers. We started escalating the issues of our IT project managers. So, and this mindset came from the business users, a trust level came from business user that there is a governing body. If we are having an issue with the project related to a particular IT project manager, they used to come to PMO to ask for resolution. And similarly, when IT project manager felt that an escalation or issue resolution required, and it is heavily dependent or getting delayed due to some particular user, they used to come to us. So we disconnected the direct interaction of business users with the IT project manager with respect to escalations and issue resolutions and reporting. So we jumped in, we gained the trust of business users and IT project managers. So a mindset from both sides came that this is a third party which is basically dealing for the interest of the company and for the interest for the success of the project as a whole. Now in 2018 we will be moving towards the advanced PMO. We will be using this success story, and as of now the PMO is very much recognized, though it's only IT PMO, but it is very much recognized in all the business units. They know that there is a project management unit dealing in project management part of their particular department. So we are getting that mindset from within the company about PMO. So we will be targeting this PMO implementation starting from the fertilizer sector towards the strategic PMO overall company. Apart from that, we will be refining our knowledge base. We will be developing a process where we will be linking the knowledge base with the future projects. We have identified closer templates, we have standardized, we have defined our risk categories, and we will be focusing on data. Now our focus is on data analytics, that how we can use that data which has been entered for the last 1 year in the database for projects, how we will be using that data. And our focus, we have changed our charters, we have changed our SOP, we are now defining the business alignment part, now because now our IT project manager and the business user understand that what this whole scenario is. So now we enter the business benefits, the business and the company will get from that particular project. So we are moving towards that alignment slowly with the organization strategy. Now I will talk about PMO structure from slides 14 to 18. The mandate that given to us by our CIO is that it will be a unit focused to ensure successful delivery of projects and to ensure that those projects, they have business value through a standardized project management structure. And the main focus was to provide transparency in reports and progress of the projects to senior management, because senior management, they were majorly concerned that the right issue brought to them at the right time, the right progress brought to them at the right time. So as a third party within the IT division, third party means that we are directly reporting to CIO. So we used to bring the challenges, we used to bring the analytics of the projects directly to the CIO and CEO, and we tell them that, see, this is the project, this is the scenario, this is what is happening in the project, and this is the point where we need your intervention or not. So this is our current model. We are currently in the support model, and slowly we are, like I said, we've been recognized in the company as a PMO now. So business users understand that yes, there is a PMO who is looking after the project management part. So slowly we will be moving towards the control part, and we will be then moving towards the leading part. And the leading part will be that the idea that I had in my mind is the house of PMO or house of project managers, where the whole organization project manager will be residing in the PMO, and the projects will be delivered as per the set project management standards within the company, the whole company. The whole company will talk about the single language of project manager, and that house of project managers will be within the PMO, and they will be leading the projects at strategic level. The structure, if I talk about the structure, we are a functional PMO right now. Why? Because it's only in the IT department. It's within one business unit. Our focus is knowledge base, tool, and standardization. And slowly we will moving the strategic PMO. Like I said, that we will be targeting the 3 fertilizer plants, and then we will move on to the enterprise PMO. And after seeing the success of our knowledge base, we are very hopeful that we have this enterprise project management software within this year budget, and we are very hopeful that with the success we have gained and the popularity we have gained with this open source and the value we have added with this knowledge base, this will be reflected in the form of our licensed software in this year. So this is the current structure. Like I said, that we have IT governance and PMO directly reporting to IT head, who is CIO, and he is directly reporting to CEO. And our target is the enterprise PMO, like mentioned in the blue box. So this is the structure: CEO, CIO, then it's me, head of IT governance. Under me there is a QA lead, then we have a QA expert, then we have a PMO lead. We have, like I mentioned, we have 2 different main streams: the IT infrastructure, network and support, and IT business application. So we have 2 different PMO experts, and then we have a governance person, and under him there is a governance expert. So that is the whole team looking after the projects. So from slide 20 to 23, I will be talking about the objectives of PM. Our mission is, let me tell you that in fertilizer sector in Pakistan, Fatima Group is the first company having a project management office within their function. No other fertilizer company is having a PMO. So our mission is to be a leader in project management practices in fertilizer sector by successfully managing and delivering the projects. And how we do that? By aligning ourselves with the globally accepted standard, which the standard we are following, it's PMI. So these are the objectives. The first is to analyze and identify organization strategic IT initiatives. Like I said, that we have segregated the strategic critical initiatives and we have segregated the normal projects within the department. Analyze them and to identify that which projects we need to do, like this precision agriculture, this mobile applications that we have developed for our distributors and farmers, the CRM application. These are the projects been initiated. The idea, the strategy came from the CEO, and basically PMO is the department along with other stakeholders who initiated these technological advancements from the IT side. Another objective, to ensure effective monitoring and control of IT division projects. Integration among departments, yes, that's how I explained that how we are integrating with the business units. We are holding a kickoff meeting. Previously it was been done by the project manager. So we are basically holding the kickoff meeting. We are escalating the issues. We are getting the requirements along with the IT project manager. We are sitting in every meeting of the project. So we are liaison. We are measuring the success. We are telling the success to the business users. We are escalating the issues, bottlenecks to the senior management timely. We have an escalation path, defined frequency, where we escalate the issues and challenges to the senior management. We have defined standardized project management framework, skills, procedures. We have an SOP. We have well-developed templates. Last year, we conducted project management audits. And again, like I said, it's audit for our own self also, that we want to check that where we need improvement. Quality assurance, our KPI of quality is bug-free software. So we do heavily tests on all the projects that we deliver. We are providing education, we are providing project management tips, we are issuing a magazine, we are giving short trainings, and we are now managing a central repository of all our project documentation, risks, lessons, bugs, each and everything at a central location online. So these are all the functions. We define the organization roles and responsibilities. Like I said, that we have separate project charter for critical projects that are greater than 3 months long. So for that projects, we form a steering committee. We form project steering committee roles and responsibilities. We have set communication protocols. We are doing audits. We have defined policies. We are doing cross-project communication. Then there is coaching, mentoring, escalations, dashboards. We are facilitating in project planning. We are The best part is the innovation that we had done in that open source Redmine, which we are currently using as a knowledge management online software. This is the flow diagram that I got it developed for PMO. So now it is pasted at every desk of our IT employee, especially IT project managers. So what we are doing, we have initiate, we have certain things identified, planning, execution, monitoring, and closeout. In between, in red, we have quality phase gates. And within this whole umbrella, we are doing monitoring, we are doing issue and risk logging on Redmine, we are doing escalations, and we're doing lessons learned. So this diagram is very well understood, not only in IT, it's been understood by our business users also, that this is how Fatima Group IT division is doing their projects. So what results we got? So slides 25 to 30, I will be talking about the results. Let's compare two different sites. What we were when there was no PMO and what is the present PMO. Number one, there was no standard PM methodology. Now we have a defined structured methodology. PM skills, IT guys, they were totally focused towards their development part. Now they know that what project management is. They have gained training in project management and they understand that apart from technical knowledge, yes, they need project management skills. Initially, we used to sit with our project managers to develop a charter, to develop a project plan. But now our project managers, they know that what needs to be written in the project charter. They know what needs to be written in the project plan. They know how to define the risk. They know how to define our lessons learned. There was no knowledge base. Now we have a good knowledge base of all our projects. And recently, one of the technology division manager, he asked to give access of our knowledge base to them. Why? Because they want to see that how we are logging our lessons learned, what lessons we are getting from our project. So we have given access to that manager so that he can see that what sort of lessons we are applying, what sort of lessons we are logging from our projects. We have a standard project dashboard. We have a standard project dashboard for our senior management. We have a standard project dashboard for project team. So, and which is updated weekly basis. We have a defined frequency in our procedure that this is how the project dashboards will be developed. Previously, there was no timely escalations. There were extensive delays in the projects. Why? Because nobody was there to escalate the issue directly to the CIO or directly to the CEO. Or if I say that the IT project managers, they had no idea at that time that what needs to be escalated, because that is important. You need to know that what needs to be escalated. If there is an escalation path, like for example, if there is something which has been stuck for 2 days, do you need to escalate it? If there is something which has been stuck for just 1 day, do it need to be escalated? So they had no idea that what is the escalation path. Now there are timely escalations. We jump in the project, we escalate, we show it to the project manager, we show it to their respective bosses. If it's the business user, we show it to the CEO, where the intervention of CEO is required. We directly show it to the CEO that this is the part where we need your intervention to get the project moving. So we have significantly improved the delivery time of our project. Scope creep is minimized. Why? Two reasons. Initially, in absence of PMO, a huge scope creep. But now, why? Because we sit in the requirement phase. We had a defined requirement phase. We get it's PMO who gets the sign off in their own presence. We get the sign off We get the sign off on test cases, we get the sign off on requirement document, and we ensure that the requirements, they've been logged properly, they've been mapped properly, and they've been signed off by the users. Lack of interest of user due to absence of governance body. Initially, there was no governing body in absence of PMO. When IT project manager used to ask something from business user, they used to take time. Why? Because they had that sort of integration with the IT project manager that, okay, I will tell you the next day, and the next day he used to tell, okay, I will tell you the next day. So they were playing the emails between one another. So when the PMO came in, they said, okay, we are here now. We are not for our IT project manager. We are not here for the business users. We are here for the project. So if you want to make project as a success, you have to accept that there is a third party looking on both of you and reporting to the CEO and CIO. So guys, let's do the project. Have a trust in us, and we ensure liaison between these two parties to get project to a success. There were no standard templates. Now we have templates of charter, two type of templates, smaller one, the one pager, and the lengthy one. We have plans, we have functional specification document, we have requirement traceability metrics. We have recently developed online, this closeout template is online. We have reports, dashboards. We have set protocols. Previously there were no protocols. Now we have set protocols right from the start till the end of the project. We have set protocols of communication. We formed steering committees for critical projects where the steering committee responsibilities are clearly defined for business critical projects. Now we have set communication protocols and responsibilities, and those were set in the kickoff meeting, and PMO basically ensures that all the roles and responsibilities, they were properly defined. There were no proper tool for planning. Initially it was done in Excel. Now we have, for planning, we have MS Project, we have limited license, and we have this Redmine open source, like I said, for the knowledge management part. There was no timely reporting. Sometimes they used to report monthly, sometimes they used to report in a quarter. So we defined a frequency of reporting. In absence, there was no QA, we defined a proper QA. Now, the good thing is that QA is separate from the IT project team, in the sense that QA is performed by the QA experts. The QA is not performed by IT project manager. The QA is performed under the PMO supervision with the help of the PMO and the QA expert and the lead team. There was no realizing business benefits. IT, they were used to do projects, everything that they see, everything, the new thing that comes in, they started working on that. So what we did, we aligned the project with the business benefits. We say that, okay, guys, listen, there are 3 projects. Let's see which one is best fit for the strategy. So the CRM project, the mobile application development projects that have been delivered by the IT in last year, and CRM is currently in progress. So these projects been initiated by IT. Why? Because these projects, they map with the strategy of the organization. So the results we got from year-wise, 2015 we were on 0 level maturity. 2016 we attained the basic knowledge, the basic strength of project management. Level enhanced in 2017, we got the trained team, we got the knowledge base, we got the refined project management policies and procedures, we got a strong QA function, and the most good thing about project management is that we got recognition outside the IT department. We got recognition in the business, we got recognition in the business user's mind that yes, there is a PMO which is working for the success of the projects. And the target we want to attain, like I mentioned in my previous slides, the target is basically to move towards the center of excellence, where everything as a group, whole Fatima group, it will be managed, controlled, and led and trained by the project management unit. So we have a standard project management methodology. It's our KPI. The KPI of my quality department is bug-free delivery. We have defined escalation paths, so we have timely escalations. Visibility of projects to senior management, all the challenges, it's been timely communicated to the project senior management. We have a strong knowledge base. We are continuously improving. Not only we are continuously improving, we are continuously engaging our business users and our IT project managers that what improvements we are bringing. We have reduced the scope creep. We have a quality assurance department. We have effective planning. We do project kickoffs where PMO brings all the stakeholders together. We recently in 2017 we did a closeout session. Now, this closeout session, it was first in the history of this Fatima group that someone has done something like that. We gathered all 20-30 project managers of the whole IT division, and we, as a guest, we called the project managers of fertilizer and other sectors. And I led that closeout session. It was a 2-day session where we done a complete post-mortem of all the projects that we had done in 2017. That session was basically itself was a huge success, and the managers of other departments started coming to us that okay, guide us that of how you are doing these things. So like I said, we are already moving towards that goal that we have identified to have PMOs in the other sectors of the group. So this is a snapshot of what we did in 2017. We completed 38 projects within agreed timeline and scope. Now that is very important, within agreed timeline and scope with the business user. So management of change. Now this management of change, it's an in-house development software. We are the pioneer in fertilizer industry to develop this management of change, which is related to any change within the fertilizer plant. And then Android based application we have given to our distributors. So now the other fertilizer companies, they had recently approached us to guide them that how we did these 2 projects, because now we are the pioneer in these 2 projects. Apart from that, like I said, our strategic focus was data analytics also. So we got this business intelligence, and then we have the other networking and infrastructure projects also. So this is the snapshot that we basically showed to our IT guys, IT project managers in the closeout session, that this is what we had done to celebrate achievement, to tell them that okay, PMO celebrate their achievement also. So to date, if I start from 2016, 40 projects. In 2017, we had delivered 38 projects, and as of now, we have completed 11 projects and 15 projects they were in progress. So this is the knowledge base I'm talking about, the huge improvement that we have brought, because I strongly believe that the knowledge base is the key to project management. So you can see that 2015 and 2016, there was no knowledge base. No one is logging risk, issues, or lessons learned. And by the end of 2017, this is the status. We got 140 project issues logged in our online software. And now our target is that whenever a new project of the same kind comes in, the system automatically gets the data of the knowledge base and show to the project manager on the screen. That's before starting the project, go through all these knowledge base related to the projects done previously of same kind. So this is the huge success which has been very appreciated, not only by the CIO, not only by the project manager themselves, but also by the other departments. They are asking us to show us to give access to this knowledge base, and for test purpose we have given this access to few of the manager outside our department, because we are moving to have a PMO in other department. So we want to give them a taste of that, how project management can bring value. We have delay reasons. We have 17 delay reasons. So what basically delay reason is? Delay reason is whenever a project timelines moves or activity moves forward, we used to ask the project manager to log the delay result so that PMO can analyze it and PMO can work as a proactive agent to ensure that this delay will not happen in the future or for future projects. We have project charter, we have 38 project charter, 38 plans, we have 98 project lists logged, we have 59 lessons learned. For a company with no knowledge base in 2016 and having this knowledge base, I think I call it as a success. Why? Because we have something now to work on, to analyze on, and this thing is now improving in 2018. So what are the next steps? Slides 32 and 33, last two slides, I will be talking about the next steps. Now the next step is we have a success now. IT PMO is a success. It's been understood by the company now. So we are moving towards the right direction. We are moving toward the portfolio, the program, the strategic level. We are moving towards the enterprise-wise project management. That is the future target. And the future goals. The future goal is now our IT is mature in project management. That maturity we need to bring at organization level. We need to map our projects with the strategy of the organization. We want to be the source of project management, leadership and expertise, not only for IT, we want it for the whole organization. Like the concept I informed you that the house of project managers. So that is basically all the experts, all the project management leaders, they reside in the PMO, the strategic PMO. We are going to promote the best practices, methodologies in quality as a group, not as IT. We will be having a house of project managers, readily available, trained project managers. We will be having a consistent channel of communication for project status. It's not only for IT, it will be for the whole group, for all the business units, the mitigation of risk, the issues, and a strong knowledge base also. And the last goal. Now, this is very interesting. We want this project management as a revenue center now. There is a new strategy of company they are moving toward a Fatima venture platform where they are targeting to start giving their services to other industries. So I was talking about the last future goal of PMO. Like I said that the company is moving towards the revenue center. So we are targeting that we will provide these project management services outside the organization to other companies also. So we will be moving towards that revenue center concept. So this is all about the PMO, and thank you for having this presentation and selecting me as a representative for Fatima Group of Companies from Pakistan. Thank you again.